Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is February 3rd, and right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery. You can see British Columbia, Washington, Oregon here. Check out our low pressure system moving up towards Vancouver Island. You can see double-barreled low pressure center here and here. Strong gradient on the southeast side, already bringing some gusty winds to Oregon, all the way through southwest Washington. This will move up across the Willamette Valley, western Washington, southwest BC as we go on in through the day today. We'll check out what kind of wind speeds we can expect from this storm, and then, as always, at the end of the forecast, we'll take a look at the extended forecast here across Pacific Northwest. Looks like we will remain active. Taking a look at this, wind advisories. You can see them across the Puget Sound, central Washington coast, southern Oregon, northeast Oregon. High wind watches and warnings across Montana with some winter weather advisories as well. High wind warnings for San Juan County up there, western Whatcom County, and the northwest Washington coast. But take a look at this. You can see this wind advisory end here. There's poor collaboration between Seattle and Portland right now because you can expect the similar wind speeds here across the Oregon coast up through southwest Washington there. So I wish they would be talking a little bit better here, a little bit of confusion what's going on here. Obviously, the criteria for the wind advisories and the high wind warnings here are different in the Portland office versus the Seattle office here. So do not get caught off guard across southwest Washington, northwest Oregon, and down the coastline here. The winds are coming. Now taking a look here, this is the European last night's run, 2,500 feet, 925 millibars, kind of showing that double-barreled low pressure system with the strong winds coming up the coastline there. And you can see these really come up through the Puget Sound, southwest BC as we start to go on in through the early afternoon. Willamette Valley getting a bit of that also. And then another frontal system coming on through the day. Saturday shown there. And then yet another system moving towards western BC as we go on in through Monday here, kind of an atmospheric river look to this one. We'll continue to watch that as it comes in here over the next couple days. This is last night's European run showing that surface low pressure center there. Just wanted to kind of give you guys a visualization there of the strong pressure gradient on the southeast side of that storm as it moves up. Next system comes through, not as windy, and then another fairly strong storm moving towards western BC here as we go on in through early next week. Now taking a look here, 10-meter wind speeds. I just want to show you the timing of this. Here we are about 9 a.m., 10 a.m. shown here. You can see the winds picking up along the coastline there, but you can really start to see them pick up around noontime across some of the San Juans up here, maybe Whidbey Island, some of the Puget Sound starting to get the gusty winds as we go through the early afternoon as well, up through southern BC also. But you can see these strong winds for the northwest Oregon coast, southwest Washington coast. So just because there's no advisory or warning, still have that heads up for those strong winds coming through the area later on in through today. Those winds are going to continue on in through this evening for many areas. Now, taking a look here, this is last night's European run. You can see the big winds along the coastal areas, northwest interior here. Seattle, not as much for the European, but it's been underplaying a lot of these systems over the last couple of months, I should say. Just gusts around 40 miles per hour on the European, but it might be underdoing that a little bit here. And you can see the gustier winds up for portions of southwest BC and the San Juans here as well. Now, looking at the high-resolution Canadian model, you can see the much bigger wind gusts showing up on this model across the San Juans, western Whatcom County, Bellingham, 58, Seattle, 43 here. Big winds. Look at Astoria, 63 showing up there. So heads up for these gusty winds today, folks. This is the lower resolution Canadian model here. Look at this, showing some gusts up towards 50 for the metro area of Seattle here. Not as windy down through Portland, Willamette Valley, but still kind of a blustery day there. Look at Astoria, 58. Long Beach, Cape Disappointment, we get some big winds in this scenario here as well. And all models agree that the San Juans are going to get pretty darn windy today. Bellingham at 54 there as well. This is looking at the NAM 3KM high resolution model. Seattle 47, Tacoma up towards 50 there. Big winds on the coast and the northwest interior, southwest BC. Pretty similar picture here. Seattle 45, big winds on the coast. You guys get the picture here, what's coming. So heads up for that as we go on in through the day and evening tonight. Now, taking a look here, this is actually a duplicate, but let's look at this. Tofino, you can see this, some big winds coming for the Vancouver Island coastline there. This is Bellingham International Airport. The European probably underdoing some of these gusts here. I expect something up towards 50 miles per hour probably for Bellingham today. I think the European has been underdoing these for the last couple of months, and I think that's probably the case again today. And you can see that next system also into early next week, showing some pretty gusty winds moving in with this. We'll watch that one too. Tillamook on the Oregon coast, some pretty strong winds showing up there, and this is the concern with no wind advisory down there. Tillamook, Astoria, down through southwest Washington, Long Beach could get some pretty gusty winds today. This is Seattle Tacoma. This has been uptrending over the last couple of days as well. Probably some mid-40 gusts here coming for some of the Seattle metro here, so heads up for that. And we'll watch this next system on in through early next week for some strong wind potential with that one. Also, coolly, you can see the precipitation maybe up 1/2 inch to 1 inch with this initial system here. The one coming in through early next week does look wetter at this point, so we'll continue to watch that. Seattle Tacoma, kind of a similar thing here, but lesser amounts, of course, since we've gone inland a bit here. But you could expect a 1/2 inch as we go on in through today in through Saturday morning there, and then another wet system early next week. This is the total snow Kuchera through 90 hours. Look at Snoqualmie Pass getting up towards 8 inches. Stevens almost twice that amount there. Mount Rainier getting a nice bullseye there. Southwest BC picking up nice amounts here. Northeast Oregon. The Oregon Cascades looks like the second system will be a little bit snowier for the Cascades down there, as well as the Siskiyous all the way down through Northern California here. But again, you'll see no lowland snow signal anyway for the Seattle metro down through the Willamette Valley, Southwest BC, Eastern Washington, and Oregon right now, except for the higher terrain there. But we'll watch out for that in the extended forecast. Now, speaking of the extended forecast here, you got the GFS on the right, European on the left, last night's model run. You can see good agreement in the short term, as always. And the next system swings through here as we go through this weekend. Then the next system, you see the more robust ridging here on the GFS on the right versus a much better troughing here on the left on the European run, bringing that stronger system into the area, much weaker on the GFS shown there. Just a bit of energy breaking across, stronger troughing here on the European. And then you can see the more active Gulf of Alaska trough here on the European on the left, but this does develop here on the GFS. Good model agreement all the way out through 10 days, though, on that storm system kind of setting up shop here off the coast of California, but that's a ways out there. We'll continue to watch that as we go. This is looking at drought conditions across the west. Again, Washington is drought-free at this time, but Oregon is not. There's still some exceptional drought across central east slopes of the Cascades here through Oregon. There's also a lot of extreme and severe drought also across Oregon, Northern California, Nevada there, Idaho. You can see Montana still dealing with some extreme drought as well. So hopefully we can continue to bring these systems through here and try to eat away at this drought here across some portions of the mountainous west here before spring and summer start to get here. But currently right now, we've got some gusts up towards 48 here in southwest Washington. You can see there 47. Look at right off the coastline there, 54 miles per hour. And these are going to increase as we go through the late morning hours today and on in through the early afternoon. These will spread up across western Washington, southwest BC. So heads up for that out there today, guys. And yeah, so let's take a look here at the windy map too. You can kind of just get a visualization there of that wind moving up the coastline there. And once these southwesterlies start pushing in across the area here along the coastline, it's going to get pretty gusty here. Mainly the biggest gusts are still just offshore right now, but that's going to change during the day today, and this will translate to bigger winds across the northwest interior, southwest BC, as I've been saying the entire time there. Probably harping on it a little bit too much here. It's not a gigantic windstorm, but you will notice it after those nice couple of days we've had here across Pacific Northwest. But anyway, yeah, so hopefully you guys are enjoying these videos here. And yeah, click like, subscribe. We'll do this again tomorrow. We'll watch these next couple systems rolling in here across Pacific Northwest. And yeah, so anyway, I will talk to you guys tomorrow.